guys, it's Natasha. So today I am doing a video on this springtime glam look. I feel like this would be perfect for if you're going out to a party. I feel like it would be really pretty with spring fashion, with florals and stuff like that. So if you guys want to see how I got this look, then keep on watching. Okay, so I'm going to start off by priming my face, and I'm just going to put the primer all over my face. This is just going to ensure that our makeup lasts all day long, which, I mean, who doesn't want that? So next I am just applying some foundation to my hand here, and then I am dipping the sponge in the foundation on my hand. I prefer to do that rather than applying it directly to the sponge because I find that it's not just going to soak up all the product in the sponge. If I apply it directly to the sponge, it's just going to soak up all the makeup. And you can use a sponge to apply your foundation or a brush, whichever you prefer. I just prefer a sponge to do it. Then I'm just applying some concealer under my eyes. I like to go a couple shades lighter than my skin tone just to kind of brighten up my face a bit. And I'm blending this onto the lid as well, so that my face kind of sticks with a nice dewy finish. I don't want to completely cover it with a powder and have it go super matte. I'm just going to set the areas of my face that tend to crease more. For me, that's my forehead, and I'm just setting this with a translucent powder. And then under my eyes, and I'm tapping underneath the eye area so that we're not moving around that concealer that we just put down, so it's staying in the same spot. And then kind of in the creases, my smile lines here is where it likes to crease as well, so put some powder there. I find not setting my whole face with powder gives it a more natural and dewy sort of finish, so I prefer to just not powder my face if I don't have to. Next I'm going to move on to bronzer just to warm up the face a little bit. I'm just using a really nice matte shade. I don't want anything shimmery, and I'm just going to apply this a little bit kind of like in between the apples of the cheeks and the hollows of like where you would contour. So you don't necessarily want to contour with a bronzer shade because bronzers are warm. You generally want to contour with ashier shades. So I'm doing this just to warm up the face. You generally want to put bronzer where the sun will naturally hit it and give your face some glow and warmth. So more so kind of on the forehead a bit, and then you can also kind of bring it in the T-zone area. And then what excess I have on my brush, I'll just kind of wipe over the rest of my face. I like to leave my blush and my highlighter for last, so I am going to move on to eyebrows and such now. So I just like to use a pencil to fill in my brows and give them the shape that I want them to have, and also to fill in any extra little spaces. So once I've filled them in, I'm just going to set them with a brow gel, and that's just going to ensure that they stay in place. This is a bit of a tinted brow gel as well, so you can just skip the brow pencil step and just use a tinted brow gel if you already like the shape of your brows, just to kind of fill them in a little bit while keeping them still really nice and natural. Then I like to just put a tiny bit of concealer on a concealer brush, and then I'm just going right underneath the brows here and just cleaning them up and just giving them a really strong shape. Okay, so I just put down a primer and a base shadow. Our primer is just going to make sure that our shadow lasts all day long without creasing or anything like that. And then putting down a base shadow, you can use a shadow that's similar to your skin tone, or you can use a translucent powder, whichever you have or whichever you prefer. That step is just going to make it a lot easier to blend out all of your colors later. That way you're not putting dark dark colors right down on top of a sticky base, and it's not going to blend out on you. If you have a base shadow down, you're going to be able to blend everything seamlessly and beautifully. So I've already done those steps. Next, I'm just grabbing a transition shade that we're going to pop in the crease here. I'm just using a light warm brown sort of color. This is just going to create a nice gradient for when we put darker colors on over top of this. And I'm just placing this kind of right above the crease area, and then I'm also blending it onto the outer half of the eye and blending it downwards a bit as well. Next, I'm grabbing a color with the similar tone as the color we were using before, so still a warm brown tone, but just slightly darker, and I'm going to be using a slightly smaller blending brush to do this, and I'm applying it in the same sort of areas but just below where I had the first color so that we have that nice gradient. And then keeping the darker colors towards the outer corner is going to give the appearance of nice, open, wide, bright eyes. And then if you need to, you can always go back in with the first blending brush we used to apply the first color and blend everything out. Next, I'm grabbing a dark brown shade, and I'm grabbing it on this kind of tapered blending brush. I've just applied it on the tip of the brush, and I'm just really lightly blending this in the outer V and into the crease. This is just going to add some more dimension. For the lid color, I'm going to use a super metallic pink color. And when you're working with metallic shadows, I find you get the most payoff when you wet your brush first. So if you just mist your brush lightly and really pack the color on and then tap it onto the lid. By tapping it, you're not going to get as much fallout as opposed to if you were dragging it, and it's also going to keep the color where you want it. So you apply the color where you want it first, and then you can blend by tapping outwards. And I just spritz my brush with a bit of primer water to do this. And I've basically just applied it to the inner 2/3 of the lid, leaving the outer corner. And next, you can go back in with one of your blending brushes and just kind of clean that up a little bit. For the inner corner, I'm just going to use a light neutral shimmery shadow color, and I'm just applying that to the inner corner with a pencil brush. And just making sure you're blending that right into where the shimmery shadow starts. For underneath lash line, I'm going to go back in with the darkest shadow we used. And I'm just putting that on a short shader brush and making sure you get right into that lash line, and I'm bringing that about halfway in. And then I'm going to go in with our very first transition shade we used to blend that out. I am actually going to go in with a pencil brush and the second transition shade we used in the crease to kind of blend that out a little bit more. I am going to do a winged liner for today's look. I'm not going to do a super bold wing, or at least I say that now. We'll see how it goes. So I'm just using a gel liner and a really tiny pencil brush, and I'm just going to connect from my bottom lash line and kind of just continue that line upwards. And then once I've basically got the shape of my wing, I'm going to start from the inner corner. And then as I bring it over, I'm just going to connect those two lines together. So to get a really nice point on the end of your liner here, you're just going to really lightly flick the brush upwards. You want to make sure you're flicking it upwards so that your wing doesn't start to curve down on you. So to really brighten up and open up the eyes, I'm just going to put some white liner in the waterline. It's going to give the appearance of you being wide awake and your eyes being wide open and give a nice doe-eyed effect. And then next we're going to move on to lashes. I just put a very thin line of glue on the lashes. You don't want to put too much on because then it's going to take too long to dry and get tacky. So I'm just gonna wait for these to get tacky here, which will hopefully be soon. So I'm just going to start by applying these as close to the lash line as I can, right in the middle. And then attach the outer corner, and then attach the inner corner. As much as us beauty gurus want you to think our lashes go on seamlessly the first time, doesn't always happen that way. So just gotta take them off and peel off all the glue and try again. Sometimes lashes do not want to cooperate. It's okay, it happens to all of us. Okay, so now that our lashes are on and our glue has set and all of that, I'm just going to run some mascara through it just to blend my natural lashes into the fake lashes. I like to do it this way because just the way my lashes are, they like to curl a lot, especially on this eye. So if I were to try and put mascara on and then put the lashes on, the lashes wouldn't move. They would just kind of be stuck in place because of the mascara. The mascara kind of acts like a hairspray, and then I wouldn't be able to get the fake lashes on. So I do it this way, and then I also just find it blends everything together as well. So now I'm going to go back and do the blush and highlighter. I'm just using a really light pink blush, and it's also got a little bit of shimmer to it, and I like to pat it into place first because that's just going to put the product where I want it, and then I can blend it out in circular motions. The next step is highlighter. I'm going to go for a softer highlight today, so I'm going to use a cream highlighter, and I'm just putting a little bit on my finger, and then I can tap it into the skin here. I'm just applying this to the tops of the cheekbones, and I also apply a little bit to the forehead as well, then a little bit down the nose, then also to the cupid's bow. I find by using your finger, that way you make sure you're not going to be applying too much, and it also blends it out for you at the same time. And you can always build it up if you want some more. You can also always go over top of it and set it with a powder highlighter if you so please. I feel as though a spring glam look would not be complete without pink lips. So I'm gonna use a hot pink liquid lipstick. This color makes me feel like Barbie. Alright, so that is everything for this springtime glam look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!